Guys, so the Kenyans train differently to Western athletes. I'm sure many of you know. A lot of people think, oh, they train the same way as we do, but no, they don't. They do things differently, and a lot of the time, like Western athletes will be a bit surprised by what the Kenyans are doing. Um, but one thing they do is, in Western societies, we tend to treat the long run like an easy run, but in Kenya they don't do that. They treat it like a workout. They don't do tempo runs. They don't do lactic threshold runs. They their like tempo run or their lactic threshold run is the long run. And you might be thinking, but if they're doing like 20 miles, how could you possibly run at your lactic threshold for that long? And I'm like, they don't. They treat it like a progression. So yeah, here's what they do. They start off really slow. They start off at the elites like Cheptegei. Well, Cheptegei is not from Kenya, but you know what I mean. Like in East Africa, guys like Bekele, Cheptegei, Kipchoge, these guys, they run the first mile in like 9 minutes, and Western athletes be like, what, 9 minutes? But that's like the easy pace of like a 22-minute 5K runner. Why would they be running that slow? Because they need to warm themselves up. All right, now my club, they do their easy runs around 7-minute mile pace, and that's okay. But it's not okay to start off with that pace. It's not a warm-up pace. Do you know what I mean? Like for the first mile, you're working far too hard, and it's almost like anaerobic because your body's like used to being in a state of rest, suddenly hitting that pace, and it's too fast. So they run the first mile in 9 minutes. And the easy runs, they don't just run at 9-minute mile pace from start to finish. All right, now on their easy runs, they start off at 9-minute mile pace and finish off around like 6-minute mile pace. But in the long run, it's different. They finish at their lactic threshold pace. So guys like Kipchoge could be running at altitude, he could be running 440 miles, and you have to remember, they're at altitude, it's harder to breathe there. So, they generally say that if you're training at high altitude in Kenya, you're going to be running 20 seconds per mile slower than you would if you were at sea level, okay? And that's if you've adapted to the altitude. If you haven't adapted, then it's going to slow you down a lot more. Do you know what I mean? I know guys, I've heard of guys who are like 15-minute 5K runners, and they do their easy runs. When they went over to Kenya, they were doing their easy runs at 9-minute mile pace because they weren't used to that kind of air. The air is thinner. That's what happens. These Kenyan guys, because the air is so thin, it's harder to breathe. Their bodies produce more red blood cells to adapt to their environments. Do you know what I mean? That's how it works. So yeah, that's what they do. They don't, and yeah, that's it. It's not a recovery run. It's not an easy run. It's just that's the workout, and I believe I'm gonna try this. Maybe I love doing progression runs. Because in Western society we just run the same pace from start to finish. So yeah, it's good to do that. Get a good range of paces in. Work about different energy systems, and if you want to be the best, you gotta train like the best.